Welcome to this edition of NetSuite Tips and Tricks presented by goVirtualOffice. goVirtualOffice is a top NetSuite provider with over 14 years of experience, where our vision is to always exceed customer satisfaction, be a market leader in cloud-based software, and be a great place to work. As you may have discovered already, the naming of fields may not be entirely consistent between what you see in a saved search and what's visible in the new Suite Analytics workbooks. NetSuite has provided a document that details the mapping that can be very helpful while either recreating a saved search or creating a new workbook from scratch. So in this video, I'm going to recreate a saved search as a Suite Analytics workbook and show you how you can use this tool that's provided within the NetSuite help documentation to actually find the fields you're looking for within the workbook interface. The save search we're going to be starting with is related to sales orders, and more specifically, sales order lines that are associated with a dropship PO. So what we're actually going to be looking at is this line, and we're going to try to pull in this PO and maybe a couple fields from that PO as well in the save search. So I already have the save search created, and you can see pretty simple transaction save search where I'm pulling in my sales order lines, and then also I have that applying transaction, the purchase order, included in my results as well. So again, we want to build this out as a workbook. To do that, I'm going to start by editing this search so we can see what criteria we're going to want in the workbook. And you can see it's fairly straightforward. We're limiting it to sales order, main line is false, and then also want to only include results that have an applying transaction as well as an applying link type of drop shipment. So I'm going to jump into my workbook. You can see I started building out some of the criteria, and now I just need to add those additional fields there, the applying transaction and applying link. And I'm just going to use the search functionality here. And you can see I'm not seeing any results for applying transaction or applying link. So I know that I'm going to have to find those somewhere else, or more likely maybe it's called something different. So what I'm going to do is I've already downloaded a document that's contained in this help article here. That's the Suite Analytics Workbook Data Source Changes, which is underneath the Suite Analytics Workbook section in Help. And you can see a little ways down here, there is a spreadsheet called Transaction Mapping. This is what you're going to want to download when you're trying to find these fields that you're used to being called something else. After you have the file downloaded, you can see we've got the column A, the transaction save search fields. So what you can do is just look for the field that you want to add to your workbook. So in this case, I'm looking for applying transaction. I can see it's right here. And the other columns actually tell you where to find this in your workbook. So I can see in column B, originating beta. This would be the point where I should point out that this record is beta in the current release. So I guess use this subject to change by NetSuite when these records come out of beta. But for now, we're going to be looking for this originating transaction field in the originating beta record. And again, we can actually use column D that tells us how to join up that originating beta record. So in column B tells you the record you need to pull into your workbook. C gives you the actual field name, and then D will tell you how to get there. So I'm just going to have to add in my originating beta record, and then I should be able to do that. So I'm going to go back into my workbook, and now that I'm in my workbook, I'm going to go ahead and do those joins that I was instructed to do. So I'm going to go into my transaction line, and then I'm actually going to then go down and grab my originating beta record. And then the field I was looking for was the originating transaction. So I can add that to my criteria. And I want this to be none of no value, or none as it would be referred to in the saved searches. And then I also wanted to have that link type be in my criteria as well. So I can go ahead and drag that over. And I wanted to limit that to drop shipment. So add that to my criteria as well. And now I've got sales order, mainline is false. And then I've got my originating transaction, none of no value, and then the link type drop shipment. So if I go to my data, I should be seeing some results similar to what I see in my saved search. So here you can see I do have sales order 229 and sales order 230. That lines up with what I had in the saved search. And then obviously I can include those fields that I wanted that I'm using as my criteria in my data as well. Just double clicking to add those. And you can see now I'm pretty close to where I was headed in that saved transaction search. If I flip back to my search and go ahead and run this. I can see I've got my sales orders and I've got my POs along with that applying link type. So just wanted to highlight this tool that's provided by NetSuite within the help section of Suite Analytics Workbooks. It's a spreadsheet called transaction mapping, and it should contain the keys you need to find the fields in a workbook that may be referred to something a little bit differently than they are within the saved search.